Good morning, everybody. So it looks like we're starting off the morning with a little bit of rain. It's currently about 8:30, so I ended up not editing the video last night, so I did that this morning. And right now I'm just kind of relaxing. It's a pretty nice little morning. Okay, so I'm just slowly packing up. It's a little after 10 o'clock, another slow morning, and it didn't rain for long, but it's a pretty chilly morning. Okay, so for breakfast I had Mountain House scrambled eggs. They were pretty good, and coffee made there. So yeah, just slowly packing up. One thing that I noticed is my first couple of fuel canisters, this one's really dirty, but were MSR, and they burned really well. But these Coleman ones from Walmart, they work just fine, but they do not burn near as hot as the MSR ones. Okay, I've got the boat packed and I'm trying to push it down in the water. I kind of loaded it up higher because it's so muddy down here, and it's really heavy. I'm a little out of breath. So this was an absolutely beautiful little island here. These are my favorite parts of the trip, is staying on these little islands. There were chunks of sand that fell off this ledge that is slowly collapsing in the river. You can kind of see all the cracks in the ground here. So several big chunks fell off yesterday evening and last night, so that was interesting. But you know, we were almost 20 feet away from the edge, so no real worry. And yeah, just a absolutely beautiful little island. There's a couple trees up on the far end, and just a big spit of sand that goes for quite a while down on the far side. Okay, I'm off, and there are some very large wing dams in this section. Some of the longest ones I've seen, they go out probably 2/3 of the way out into the river. So I'm having to pedal pretty hard to get around this one. They don't look like much with the water so high, but definitely don't want to get near them, that's for sure. I always find it really cool to watch the water drop, because the water is almost a foot higher on the upper side of the wing dam than it is on the lower side. To just see the water drop so fast, it's pretty cool. Mile marker 426. They're counting down pretty fast now. All right, we're coming up on the town of Atchison, Kansas, and there's actually two docks, or there's actually two boat ramps, which is pretty interesting, and a pretty good sized dock here. So I've got the boat pulled up at Atchison. They kind of have this whole Lewis and Clark landing, and there's about a 200-foot long dock, massive thing. And up top there's a little park here and a little like store, so I'm pretty excited. Might be able to buy some drinks or something and get rid of all my trash. So Trotters on the River. I'm not entirely sure if it's a bar and grill or what it is, but I'm excited to check it out. Okay, so Tracy is gonna
I'm leaving.
Head off the river. So she was a part of the Mississippi Speedrun ground crew, and next year part of the Missouri Speedrun ground crew.
Missouri River Speed Record.
So
Look us up on Facebook and online.
So very cool, and I enjoyed paddling with her.
Thanks for letting me come along.
Yep. Okay, I'm back on the water. I was able to get a cheeseburger to go for lunch. It's about 1 o'clock, and some sodas was given by them as they're being dropped off. So that was pretty awesome. So I'm going to get everything kind of packed up and head out on the river again. Okay, I'm on the water, and you know, nice thing about this current, it kind of instantly turns you around. And now just some 400 miles to St. Louis. Well, that was a very nice little stop in Atchison, and it was really nice. There wasn't a shower, but there was a public bathroom and a restaurant, which is always awesome, and it was open, which it honestly never happens. So that was pretty cool. So this is the Atchison Swing Bridge, which was built in the 1900s. So very cool old bridge. I'm kind of surprised to see it closed like this, because I feel like barge traffic would have a difficult time getting under this. So according to the website, I'm not entirely sure if it's accurate, but it does say that this bridge is still in service and it's currently only used to turn trains around on the swing. But I don't know if this bridge is still active. That is really cool, but it doesn't look like it, so I don't. And there are it's very dilapidated, so I don't think that's the case. Just another really cool swing bridge. Pretty cool. And as always, the gears on these swing bridges are always just really cool. And a pretty cool cable suspension highway bridge. Oh. Got a train going by. That's going to be very common for the rest of the trip. Now that's a big grain facility. I don't know if they still unload by barges, but there's a lot of trains rolling through. So I've been passing by quite a few nice sandbars for camping, and hopefully there'll still be quite a few by the time evening rolls around. But I really enjoyed that burger for lunch. It was really good. And other than that, it is just a very cool, cloudy day and just beautiful out here. Not much wind, and I'm almost chilled. Not quite. So it's just about perfect. Another bald eagle. They're just absolutely everywhere down here on the river. I always find it interesting. It seems like the river can really narrow up sometimes. It feels very small at the moment, but it'll get wider and wider soon enough. 416 is tucked in there, barely showing. And just continuing down the river. It's actually cooled off a little bit. I had to put my jacket on. I was starting to get pretty cold. So that is definitely not what I was expecting. The past several Septembers in Missouri have been very hot. So I just cannot believe I actually got good weather. This is amazing. I was really expecting 90 degrees and 100% humidity. Passing by what I believe is a coal burning plant, but some kind of major power plant manufacturing, I don't know. But it's a very big building with a big old smokestack. And they have their water intake here. So, pretty interesting stuff. Just a massive complex, that's for sure. And as always, a water intake and a discharge. And there's the water returning to the river. So it's about 3:30 and it is still pretty chilly. I am just on the edge of being cold all afternoon. So a lot better than hot, but just still not exactly comfortable. Apparently I got a little airport. So that river marker sign says 4:05, which means I'm exactly halfway in between St. Louis and Yankton. So the lower channelized section. I am halfway done with it. And that's a pretty big milestone right there. That's pretty exciting. Starting to see some flying V's of migrating birds, but for some reason the couple that I've seen so far are all heading north at the moment. And the ever-present train noise in the background. So every once in a while you just get these big old boils where a massive chunk of water just comes up to the surface, often with some nice whirlpools. but other than maybe pushing the boat sideways just a little bit, it really has no effect on you. Other than sometimes startling you, because when they come to the surface, they can make some pretty loud splashing noises sometimes. Here comes another train. That one was booking it. I was moving pretty quickly. There's a Chinook helicopter flying over the river. That is pretty cool. There's a wrecked boat there behind those pilings. I wonder how long that thing's been there. Huh, that's pretty interesting. And I'm coming up on the town of Leavenworth, Kansas. So, pretty exciting stuff. I'm almost into the town of Leavenworth, and I'm down in the 300s. That is super exciting. Woohoo! And another bridge. The boat ramp at Leavenworth, but there is a campground there farther upstream, but there's really no reason to stop. I much prefer staying on a sandbar. And another train. Pretty much going to be the theme for the rest of the trip. That was good to see that the train is that close to the river right here, because there's a very nice sandbar right across the river that I am no longer interested in at all. So it is only 6:30, so it's not quite time to stop yet, but still, it's a good reminder that hopefully I can find a camp spot that doesn't have a train going right across the river. It's doubtful, but you know, I can hope. There's quite a bit of these abandoned structures along the river. Just used to be a crane to unload barges, what it looks like. There's kind of a turntable there, but very much damaged by the river and time. There's a small barge underwater here, but there's a big barge coming up with the towboat upstream. So I need to get out of the way. Well, the barge is getting closer. It's slowly moving upstream. It's actually one of the first ones I've seen that's not hauling rock, so that's pretty cool. So I think what I might do is pull off on this sandbar here and get supper going and then keep going, because it's only it's not even 7 o'clock yet, so I have plenty of time. Putting some massive waves up the back into that boat. So while it's probably not necessary to get out, it's always never a bad thing to be safe. There's a pretty good sized bow wake in the front of that thing, where the water is being pushed up by those massive barges, and they're definitely loaded, that's for sure. Sitting pretty low in the water. So that's the Faith Geraldine. And there's some nasty waves coming out the backside of that thing. Doesn't look like much, but those are probably 4-footers, if not bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and rehydrate some Peak Refuel chicken pesto pasta. So Tracy was very nice to leave me some of her extra meals. I really appreciate it. So I'm gonna enjoy that as the river calms down. It can take up to 20 minutes to become calm again. I don't need to wait that long. So I'm just gonna boil some water, put it in this meal, and then head back out and enjoy that as I continue down the river. Okay, the meal is rehydrating. It's actually right there. And yeah, I'm gonna head back out for like another hour and then hopefully find a nice camp spot. This one is not really one. There's a really nice flat area up there, but it's very steep to get there. So the river is still pretty choppy, but honestly it's nothing after being on the lakes. This this is barely even noticeable. I doubt the camera can pick it up, but there are a whole bunch of bugs flying all over the place, and there are birds swooping everywhere trying to catch them. Well, it's 7:30 and I'm at mile marker 393. Well, it's definitely turning into an absolutely beautiful evening. Well, I pushed it a little bit too far. I'm starting to lose light and there's not a whole lot of sandbars, but I think just around the corner here there's supposed to be a couple, and hopefully I could snag one right before I run out of light. Okay, it's covered in logs, but I'm getting less picky as the light fades and I think it'll work. So I'm going to beach, quickly get everything set up and shoved in the tent before I lose all my light. Okay, so it's about 9 o'clock and I made it in the tent. Everything's in here. I got everything set up before it got completely dark, which is good, but I do have lots of practice. So that was nice. And yeah, so just because I can and I'm still kind of hungry, I have a Alpine Air spicy sausage pasta. So I'm going to enjoy that as I edit the video tonight and then get to bed and, you know, hopefully wake up at a reasonable time and get on the water and have a good day tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going through Kansas City, which is pretty exciting, and I'm going to be turning east and heading across Missouri towards St. Louis. So super exciting. And the other cool thing is tonight is I am staying in Kansas. So this was my last chance to stay in Kansas on this trip. So definitely wanted to take advantage of that, and I did. So pretty cool stuff. So I think with that, I'm going to say good night. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.